So, hello everyone, and welcome to the webinar today. We are we have the webinar Create Alignment with Fierce Conversations with our MAPS coach, Debbie Frapp. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the question box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar today, if you have any questions, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me, Debbie. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation and to introduce you to really, this is just one of my favorite topics. I'm super passionate about it. And, to start us off, I guess the reason that Fierce Conversations has made such a difference in my life really has to do with the fact that I have discovered that the quality of my conversations will determine really my success or my failure as a coach, as a team member, and really it impacts every single relationship that I have in my life. That's the reason why I'm so passionate about it, because I've really seen it firsthand. So I'm excited to be able to get to spend this next 30 minutes with you. And really a couple things that I want to be able to do today is just introduce you to what is Fierce. I think it's something that's misunderstood. People hear the title, they hear the word fierce, and they may shy away from it a little bit. And so my goal is to be able to share with you what it is, where it comes from, and what's in it for you. And then how to get on your path to be able to learn more about how to have more productive, more higher quality conversations so that you too can see how that can impact your success in every area of your life. So what is Fierce Conversations? So first of all, it's based on the book, Fierce Conversations, same name. And it's the book is written by Susan Scott. And so we've MAPS, Diana, and all of her wisdom and being as passionate about this topic as I am, she really wanted to be able to bring it to everyone. So we've got this particular program, and it's going to provide you practical tools and techniques to handle all types of conversations. So whether you're running a team meeting, whether you're coaching, whatever the case may be, you're going to be able to really have some practical tools and techniques. In fact, in this webinar today, I'm going to share with you, I think, one of the most powerful tools that we have in the program. So make sure you stay on for that. So what will it do? It's designed to help you enrich your relationships with everyone that's important to your success. Everyone. That's both your personal and your professional life. It will improve your leadership. And we're all leaders. Even if you're a single agent and you feel like, well, I'm not leading anyone. Yeah, you're leading your clients to making great decisions in purchasing a home or to selling their home. So it will also help improve your workplace conversations. It will help you create and build alignment and collaboration. And you're going to see just how expensive the lack of alignment and collaboration can be in our business world today. I'm going to share some of those stats with you. And it will also help you increase your business with stronger relationships, which in turn could lead to more referrals, which really is about increasing your bottom line. So that's a little bit about what where Fierce comes from and the Fierce program. So what's in it for you? What will you gain from being able to participate in this program? So let's take a look at it big picture first. Fierce Conversations is going to teach you how to ignite productive dialogue. It'll help you with your clients, staff members, team members, and again, even your family and friends. I keep bringing in the personal because my experience has been is that so many of these techniques and tools, people have really seen the value in how to improve their life. Why is that important? Well, first of all, the way that you have your life at home directly impacts your professional well-being. So I want you to kind of think about your business currently and think about your conversations. What are they creating? Are they creating clarity? Are they causing frustration? Is there confusion? And maybe it's not that you're the initiator of those, but think about just your work environment. If you're an agent, think about those conversations with your buyers and your sellers. Think about the conversations with agents on the other side of the transaction and all the vendors that can be involved in that. When you look at that, if it's causing frustration and confusion, you can look at what lost opportunity and income is occurring as a result of that. It's a pretty powerful statement. And I just want to share with you, though, that here are some of the things that happens if we have a failed or a missing conversation. And those that are in red, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper in those for you today, because I saw those as where were the areas that, regardless of what your role is, whether you're an agent or whether you're in leadership and on staff with the Market Center, whether you're on a team or whether you're not on a team, I think these are some of the ones that can impact us the most. But let's take a look at all of them. What does it cost us if we have a failed or a missing conversation? In other words, one of those that may be causing confusion or causing frustration. What's at stake? Well, the first one is loss of commissions. Think about if you're having a conversation that is ineffective and you're in the negotiation part, it could cost you. It could also, you could be taking overpriced listings either due to a missing conversation or just it being ineffective. So in looking at it from an agent's perspective, you could lose commissions either through those poor negotiations or, again, taking a listing that maybe you don't need to take, or not being able to get it priced because, after all, a listing doesn't pay you. It's only when it sells. Number two, lost referrals. Lost referrals due to a poor connection and a weak relationship. Here's what we know. One of the transformational ideas in Fierce Conversations is that the conversation is the relationship. Again, if we look at this from an agent perspective, how you connect is through your conversations. And that is going to strengthen the relationship. So if you have strong relationships and you have a strong connection, it makes sense that other people will want their friends, their family, and they'll want to do business with you again. Lost time and money. You can look at this from different perspectives if you're in leadership. Lost time and money. Your time. We're going to dig into this one in just a moment. Lost money because maybe the agents are not producing. Maybe you don't have a team member that is producing at the level that they need to produce at. Maybe we keep having high turnover. It's another place where we can lose time and money. And all of these are due to failed and missing conversations. We could have work being redone as a result of a misunderstanding. Again, all of these are connected to how effective your conversations are. Misalignment and a lack of collaboration within a team or a group that basically causes low productivity. Now, on this webinar today, we're only together for a short period of time, and what I can tell you is that in the group coaching program, we're really going to dig deep into each and every one of these so that we'll dig deep by looking at the mindset around what's an effective conversation really consist of. We're going to dig deep into the principles, which are the how-to. How do we need to show up? How we enter a conversation is very often how we emerge from the conversation. So let's take a look at the ones that I have on the screen here and dig a little bit deeper into these and how implementing the tools, implementing the perspectives and mindset from Fierce Conversations can actually help you. So let's just take a look from an agent perspective. Lost commissions from referrals. So Gary Keller teaches us that our best business is from repeat and referral business. NAR shows that about 21% of an average, now I realize most of you on this call are not average, and let's just take a look at average. NAR shows that 21% of an average agent's business is as a result of repeat and referral business. So how do we get those? See, our success, whether we're an agent, a business owner, however you want to look at it, is in direct proportion to our relationships. In fact, it's the relationships that's actually your secret weapon. I like to say it's your competitive edge. What separates you from other real estate agents. If you're on staff, what separates you from other market centers, from other brokerages? And it all comes back to our relationships. So let's just take a look at, if we took 36 transactions over a 12-month period of time. If we look at 21%, what that means is that 8 of those 36 transactions were as a result of repeat or referral business. So if we take an average commission of $4,000, that's $32,000 commission dollars that is a result of your current relationships and your current ability to connect. That's on average. So now I want you to imagine you learn to connect better. You learn to connect better through having more effective conversations. You learn how to connect at a deeper level so that you can then increase your referrals. So as a result of using those skills and strategies and the models of Fierce Conversations, even if you only added one more transaction, one more referral as a result, it's going to give you a rate of return of over $3,000. This is huge. I think that when we think about our database, the whole concept around our database is how we connect and the relationships that we have with them. So through Fierce Conversations, you're going to learn some of the mindset and some of the strategies to really help you connect at a much higher level. Let's look at this from another perspective. This one was really kind of fascinating to me, looking at how much time and how much money a lot of times is lost due to ineffective communications. So here's what research showed. They had with companies that had 100 employees. And so when you think about, let's look at this from a market center perspective. The average size of our market centers right now is at 200. Okay, so for most of us, we fall into this category, if you will, of a company with over 100 employees. I realize our agents are independent contractors, and we can still look at it from this perspective. We spend an average of 17 hours each week simply clarifying communications. And if we put a dollar amount to that, it's costing us over $500,000 each year of wasted time and wasted money. I want you to imagine if you could increase your company dollar for a market center by $500,000. By the way, because we're a profit share company, that would also increase profit share. Here's another. In an article from Insider Cities, there was a survey that found the top 3 reasons why people do not like their jobs. And 62% of those were communication related. Time and money issues in your organization have one thing in common: ineffective conversations. So what's the solution? The solution is to have a higher quality conversation that leads to higher engagement. When you have higher engagement from your agent base, from your staff, from your leadership team, that will actually lead to happier and better performing employees and agents. See, the power of our conversations, I don't think we ever really look at it from this perspective. Why do we need this? Let's take a look at one more area, and this is low productivity. According to Industry Week, $37 billion is lost annually to unproductive meetings. Research has actually shown that a manager can spend up to 12 to 18 hours per week in meetings, causing individuals to just simply go on autopilot. And then they don't even meet the production goals. In other words, they disengage. So the question here is, we have to have meetings that are actually meaningful. So what's our solution? Well, as a leader, it's important to understand all perspectives that need to be heard before making a decision. Team meetings are powerful ways to work together and to build collaboration. And we have to learn the skill to set agendas and get to the ground truth and involve everyone's perspective and not just have a meeting. Now, this can also apply if you are an agent and you have meetings with your team. So what does all this mean? Let's take a look at how and the goals of a fierce conversation. In fact, all of these need to be present to really consider it a fierce conversation. And when we look at these, this is what's going to go against this, this cost of failed and misunderstood conversations. How do we get to the other side of that? How do we get to where we're having quality conversations and we're having effective conversations? And the key is all four of these need to be present. So the first thing we have to do is we have to interrogate reality, yours and the others. Because reality, this will allow you to make the best possible decisions to your team. So here's a quick just way to look at this. If all of us on this webinar were all in the same room right now, would we describe the room the same way? And it's very easy for everybody to say, no, we wouldn't. And yet we don't necessarily consider this interrogating reality in our business world. Now, interrogating reality simply means tell me how you would describe the room. Okay, and how would you describe the room? And you find out from everybody else how they would describe it. It's not that one person's right and the other person's wrong. What's important here is that we need to understand how somebody else is seeing the situation so that we can make the best possible decision for our team and for our clients. As a result of provoking or of interrogating reality, it will provoke your learning. When you can see how somebody else is seeing the situation and you can hear the input and the opinions of others, that will allow you to make the best possible decision. So often, our hearing, I'll turn that into listening. Our listening, we do it in a way to respond to people versus to understand them. So through fierce conversations and some of the principles that we'll put into place as far as how do I need to enter this conversation, it will actually allow you to listen to understand. One of those principles, be here, prepared to be nowhere else. It's real easy to say that, and yet it's another thing to be able to do it. Especially when we live in a world today where everyone, including your kids, have smartphones or iPads. And we're not really listening to understand people anymore. We want to go in and we just simply want to be right. We want to look good. And we just want to respond. One of the other goals of Fierce is to learn how to handle your toughest challenges in conversations. Some of the toughest conversations are those in which maybe we've got a problem. We've got an underperforming staff member. We've got, whether it's on a team or on your leadership team in the market center, if you've got somebody that's underperforming, typically we don't say anything. So that would be the missing conversation again, right? And what that does is not only does that frustrate you, but then you begin to build up resentment. The other side of that, though, is it doesn't give the person who's underperforming the opportunity to change. So one of the things that we will do is we'll learn how to have some of those conversations so it frees up your energy so that you can take care of the things that matter. And as a result of having these more effective and higher quality conversations, it's actually going to enrich your relationships, and you're going to have a higher level of satisfaction, not only from your consumers, but also from your team members. So this is the goal. This is the reason why we have fierce conversations. So the difficult challenge is that there's not a lot of courses or not a lot of opportunities to identify what are you currently doing that's not getting the result that you seek. And how do we implement and really learn more effective ways of communicating? We can simply look at this statement here and realize, how do we learn how to have conversations? I don't know about you. I learned them from my family. And I'll be the first to raise my hand to say that a lot of those were dysfunctional ways of dealing with conversations. Doesn't mean my family's bad. It's just the reality. In fact, I heard somebody one time say that I think we all come from some type of dysfunction in the family. And yet that's where we're learning how to have our conversations. So this is just a huge opportunity to be able to measure, to say, okay, what am I currently doing that's not getting me the result that I want? Because again, as I started, the quality of those conversations is going to determine whether or not you succeed or you fail. What gets talked about and how it gets talked about will determine what will or won't happen. So when you look at your business, our business is fundamentally an extended conversation with our clients, our customers, our team members, our co-broke agents. And unfortunately, as I've already showed you, many of these conversations are failing or they're unreal. Even worse, we have the missed conversations because we've avoided, we don't have the skill, we procrastinate, or we're just downright scared to do it. So here's one of the tools that I promised to share with you, and we dig deep into this tool in the group program. But this right here, I can't tell you how often I use this. This is probably my most, the tool that I use the most out of Fierce Conversations, outside of just the principles themselves. This particular tool, I used it just this morning with an OP that I coach. And it's called the beach ball preparation form. So let me give you just an idea of the beach ball. If you can, everybody can imagine a beach ball. I want you to imagine that each person on your team or each person represents basically a stripe on that beach ball. Now, when you look at the beach ball, there's not one stripe that's more significant than the other. Each stripe makes up the beach ball. So let's say, for example, that I live on the blue stripe. So everything in my world is based on that blue stripe. And I get my perspective, my context, whatever it is, however you want to label it, I get it from my own attitudes, my opinions, my beliefs, my truths, and my experiences that I've had. And no one can really describe the world from my shoes without having those same opinions, attitudes, beliefs, truths, and experiences. So the idea in a beach ball conversation is to be able to get the perspective of individuals that can help you make the best possible decision. This isn't just a problem tool. This is an opportunity tool. I've used this tool with family. I've used it with business decisions. I've used it with personal decisions. So let me introduce you to how this tool works. So one of the things that you'll learn in Fierce Conversations is first we have to look at a context of a tool. We've got 4 conversation models that are in Fierce Conversations. We'll cover 2.5 of them in the 8-week course. Okay, I say 2.5 because one we don't dig deep in, yet I give you some structure for the conversation. And one of them is this conversation. Okay, and so the idea is we'll look at the context and then you prepare. And this is a preparation form because oftentimes we go into conversations really not prepared. So I want you to imagine, I gave you some statistics earlier around low production, oftentimes being spent in meetings that really don't give a result. So now this tool could absolutely not only have more effective meetings, it could also allow you to have more high-level collaboration. So how does this form work? This is a preparation form that you would do. So you think of a real issue that you want to solve or a decision that you need to make, and that you would benefit from being able to hear multiple perspectives. In other words, If you live on the blue stripe on the beach ball, you want to hear from the red stripe, the green stripe, the yellow stripe, the purple stripe, white stripe, whatever stripe you have on your ball. And so just to go through the form with you, I know the writing is really small on this webinar, but you name the issue. In 1 or 2 sentences, you get to the real issue. Is it a problem? Is it an opportunity? Is it a challenge? Is it a reoccurring issue? Whatever it is. And you're able to state it in 1 or 2 sentences. And then the second part of this is, why is it significant? In other words, why are we talking about it? And a great way to be able to answer that question is to say, what's at stake to gain or to lose? What's at stake to gain or to lose? So for example, if it's a reoccurring issue, what's at stake? What is this problem? What is this issue costing us? Then you go to the next one, which is my ideal outcome. So basically what you're doing on this form is, if you're going to lead this conversation, you're basically sharing your stripe on the beach ball. So what is my ideal outcome? I resolve the problem, whatever the case may be. The next one, relevant background information. I don't know about you, but there's been times where somebody has come up to me and say, hey, Debbie, tell me what you think. And I give them, a possible solution, and they go, oh, yeah, I've already done that. I'm like, okay, what about this? Yeah, I've tried that too. That didn't work. See, it doesn't really make me more likely to engage if everything that I come up with, they keep saying, I've already done that. So these next 2 are important. So relevant background information. What do I need to know about this problem? So it's the who, what, why, where, and it's bullet points. And then what have I done up to this point? So that it allows people to kind of understand, so you don't get the same things that you've already tried. And then finally, what are the options that you're considering? So you let people know, here's what I'm thinking. And then finally, you get to answer the question, what's the help that I want from this group? Do you want them to push back? Do you want them to validate what it is that you're going to do? Do you want ulterior solutions? Like, what is it that you want from the group? So this is one of the tools that you'll get introduced to in our team conversation, as we title it here, the Beach Ball Preparation Form. And this has been used in so many ways. Just this last week in the Fierce group, I had one person that was able to evaluate. They had a client appreciation party, and they used this form to have a conversation afterwards to find out what worked and what didn't work. Other agents have used it in evaluating the marketing. Do we need to do something different? So there's so many applications for this one tool, and it truly helps you make the best possible decision, and it allows the rest of your team to get involved. And when they feel valued and when they feel heard, they give you a higher level of production. They're more engaged, which makes them happier, and they produce more. So here's the agenda for the coaching program. It's 8 sessions. We're going to get started with objections, definitions, what the ground truth is. We're also going to look at what is emotional capital. 3 transformational ideas from Fierce Conversations. Then we get into the 7 principles. The transformational ideas are more of the mindset around a Fierce conversation. Then we get into the 7 principles. How do I do it? We're going to look at 2 powerful conversation models. One that I just shared with you that builds alignment and collaboration. But then we've got another that will allow you to delegate effectively and develop your people. Then we'll talk about some common mistakes that people make when attempting to handle a difficult conversation. And then I'll give you some tips and strategies on how to successfully and have more powerful conversations. So we're going to explore the connection between your conversations and your personal and professional success. All right, I would love to entertain some questions. I know that we are sitting right at our, we've got just a couple of minutes. And what questions do you have, either with something that I've shared with you today or about the program? Would love to entertain those questions. I always like to give it a few minutes because people are typing into the question box, so you may not know how to do that. Great, Jane. I'll get to that on the next slide, so hold on for me. Jane was wanting to know the cost of the program and when it will be. Is this always a group? Heather, great question. We do offer the Fierce Group Coaching Program, and there is also a one-day live workshop of Fierce Conversations. It's called Conversations That Matter. And so if your market center is interested in hosting that, you can reach out to me at debbie@debbiefrapp.com. I'll be happy to share the details of how to bring that to your market center live. You could also email fasttrack@kw.com as well. Okay. Okay, Matt has, when presenting an agenda in a team meeting, should I come with solutions already typed into place or leave it an open floor? Matt, I love that question. I think that, if we looked at the model of the team conversation, I think to be able to, the beach ball preparation form, by the way, would be a great agenda kind of to help you identify that so that, you're letting everybody know, here's where I'm at, and then tell them what you want. I believe it's always best to let them know what you're thinking, because sometimes people then spend a lot of wasteful time guessing. And so for you to go ahead and share that, but then to allow, here's how I see a solution, and I'd really love to get some other ideas, et cetera, et cetera. So the answer to your question, the way that I see it from this conversation model, is both. What's the format of the group coaching, and can this be valuable for a single agent? Yes, Wendy, absolutely it can, because a single agent also has conversations. And I know that a lot of it looked at, working as a team. And so and you may be thinking as a single agent, I don't have a team. And yet when you're doing a deal, when you're doing a real estate transaction, you're part of a team. You've got your clients, you've got a co-broke, you've got vendors, you've got everything else. So you can absolutely get value for your business as a single agent. And so much of this is really about you being able to identify, where are my relationships and my connections maybe not the best, and what are some of the techniques and some of the strategies that I can use to improve them so that I can increase my business. So the format, it's a webinar format, and let me just go to the next slide here. Okay, so it's going to start June the 25th. It will be from 11:30 to 12:30 Central Time. So that will be on Mondays. It's 8 sessions total. The cost is $297, and it's a webinar format. So you're going to get a workbook that you can use, and then the webinar that we will do every for 8 sessions, and those are recorded. Ironically, we just completed this last session. We completed session 7, and I just had somebody this morning submit their homework from session 2. So you have the opportunity to listen to the recordings. In fact, I get a lot of people that they're on the live webinars and then they go back and listen to it again. It's very content rich. It's very much a journey in learning about yourself and how you connect to other people. So you have that option to really dig deep and to uncover some things that can really make a difference and impact your life. So they're all recorded, so you can come back and you can listen to the various sessions. I hope that answers your question, Wendy, on that. And Jane, I think I've answered yours. So I know I'm a few minutes over time. Does anybody have any other questions? I just realized on my slide I have at the bottom your message. So here's my message to you, is that the Fierce Conversations, I first got exposed to Fierce Conversations in 2006. And here's what I can tell you. Not only has it increased my success professionally, my relationship with my 2 boys and now my grandchildren, I am so connected and my relationships are so good with them because of what I've put into place from learning from Fierce Conversations. And I'm still learning. I truly am still learning. So I know the impact that it will make. I know that it's made a difference in people's marriages. their relationship with their kids, their relationships in general. It's helped them connect to their database to increase their business. There's so many testimonials that I could share with you that people, when they really take these concepts and put them into practice, the difference that it's made in their life. So I look forward to having each and every one of you on this call, and those of you that maybe were not on the live webinar that are listening to this. I invite you to join me. Join me on June the 25th and participate in a program that can truly make a huge difference in your life and in your business. With that, thank you for your time and your energy today. I look forward to having you enrolled in the next Fierce Group Coaching Program. Thank you guys so much. This is Debbie Frapp, signing off.